Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teague. With me, like always, is Noah Bailey. So, this past week, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show finally wrapped up, and we're going to start by reviewing that. I know this show has been very controversial for some fans. I remember specifically when episode 1 and 2 were out, everyone was complaining about literally every little solitary thing, complaining that Hayden Christian hadn't shown up yet. Even when episode 3 came out, it's like, why is Hayden not? Why have we not had any, flashbacks to them being in the Clone Wars era? Why haven't this character? Why isn't this thing happened yet? Like, if they just waited 3 minutes, it'd be fine, whatever. So apparently Star Wars fans can't be satiated by anything. They don't have any patience for anything. Because, by the end of the show, almost everything they wanted was there. And I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say I'd probably give it like a 9 out of 10. It wasn't a 10 out of 10 just because, a 10 out of 10 is the greatest thing you've ever seen, but definitely 9 out of 10. I think it was a strong 9 out of 10.
Yes. It's one of the very few shows where I feel like every single episode got better as it went. Not that I disliked episode 1 and 2 or 3, but like episode 4 really ramped up things with, that cool temple place with the Inquisitors that you went to in Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah, and then, just gradually watching Obi-Wan get his feel for the Force back. I never got tired of seeing young Leia just being a boss.
Yeah.
And then obviously, episode 5 and 6 are just some very good Star Wars.
I will say, like you said, I was surprised because again, young Leia, I was like, oh no, the kids, I don't know how this is gonna go because it's been a little rocky with some kid actions. Dude, young Leia killed it. I'm not gonna lie, I loved it. It was spot on, great character. Honestly, probably, yeah, she was great. That was exactly what you would expect from a kid version of Leia. I think that was perfect.
Yep. And yeah, the action of episode 5 and 6 was some of the best action I've seen, period. Literally, of not even just Star Wars, just of any Disney produced thing I've ever seen. It was really good.
Right?
Yeah, them being holed up in that bunker with all those stormtroopers out, that felt very episode. That felt very reminiscent of Last Jedi, which is always a win to me. Any Vader fan service is always welcome.
Man. Again, I know some people wanted Vader in every single moment of everything, which again, I see that, but also it's so much it's still so good when Vader can just show up and just absolutely steal an entire episode. Just how awesome he is.
And
go.
Vader is one of those characters where even though he wears a mask, so his face is always the exact same, just somehow, I don't know if Hayden was always the actor inside it or just the vibes of the scene, but you could always tell when Vader was just livid. Just like that one scene when he just stormed in, choked Reva, you want what? You can see it in his face, even though you just feel it, he is. He just walks into that one room and just starts ripping apart that ship. Just,
oh my gosh! Just no, and just how even from when we first saw every moment of Vader in the show was just intense.
Mm-hmm.
Even at the end of episode 2, just the half second we got, just we're oh shoot! Oh no! Or that episode, all of episode 3, where he just comes in, just wrecks a village, just snapping necks like it's nothing, and then he just goes. He's just diabolical, man. It's awesome. It's just this like you root so hard for the bad guy sometimes. You're just like, oh no, Vader's gonna get him.
Like I didn't even care that I knew all of these characters were obviously not going to die, but like that's a problem with the prequels period. So like it's not a new thing for Star Wars, but like
Yeah.
they I still feel like the inter character play was the stakes, like knowing how these characters interact with each other before episode 4, knowing, like a lot, one major complaint a lot of people had was that the show was being very loose with the canon, and every little thing was a plot hole. Again, if you had just waited 5 minutes, you would have seen by the end of it. No, actually,
Right.
pretty much. I haven't like rewatched episode 4 recently, but pretty much from memory, everything lines up well enough.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like, especially knowing that certain characters are going to be in certain positions later. They're going to have to do something. Like they're not. You know what I mean? It's like the main, like I know a lot of people with the Grand Inquisitor were like, "What the heck?" It's like, guys. We've seen Rebels. We know how this goes. It's okay. He's probably just healing or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably just like
back to take his literal magic. He'll be fine.
Yeah, like he'll be like he's coming back. Granted, when he came back, it was hilarious, but
Mm-hmm.
he's coming back. It's not a huge deal because he has a whole season of stuff in Star Wars Rebels, so it's like he didn't just die. Like,
yep. And these are the same people that just accept the fact that Maul got cut in half and is fine.
Right? Right? Cut in half and fell down in whatever reactor or whatever the heck that was.
No one knows.
And totally survived. So
yeah, he can't survive a stab to the gut. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm saying. It's like, bro, like, this is Star Wars. People have survived weird stuff, man. I mean, Boba Fett just broke out of the Sarlacc pit. We saw that too. Like, you know what I mean?
Darth Vader, for example.
Yeah. Like, that's what I mean. It's like, bro, people, like, it's Star Wars. A lot of people just cheat death all the time. They kind of just how it goes.
Yep.
But
and another thing that has really bugged me about the people's complaints about the show, which is the very similar complaint they had with Multiverse of Madness, was that they complained about this show, like episode 1, 2, and 3. They complained about this being Reva's show, and Obi-Wan was a side character in Reva's show. When, like, again, similar with Multiverse of Madness, people were complaining about it being a Scarlet Witch movie with Doctor Strange also there. It would be weird if you're watching a movie and the villain doesn't take up a significant portion of the runtime.
right?
It would be like calling Thor Ragnarok a Hela movie with Thor also there. Like it's about the same amount of screen time, culminating to a climactic moment where like the beats come to a head and they have a battle. Like it makes sense for the villains to be in the show a good amount. It's not her show. And especially with Obi-Wan, Reva's story like greatly enhanced Obi-Wan's, so they complement each other very well.
Right.
So it
The thing is, yes, and when she first appears, it kind of feels out of nowhere. But by the end, you get why it works, and then it's way better. Because again, I will say, I was also kind of on the not a huge fan at first. But by episode 5, when that all came around, then I was like, oh, that makes a ton of sense. And now her character arc is way better because of the payoff. But that's the thing. People don't want to like wait. They don't want it. They want to either it's amazing right this moment. Like it's way better knowing what I know now versus when it first started. But that kind of makes sense because I feel like if you just knew everything from the beginning, it wouldn't be a good story. It wouldn't keep you engaged.
Yeah, and again, people called it a plot hole that Reva would know that Darth Vader is Anakin, when like we had till we saw that. Like it was also obvious that she was one of that they wouldn't have shown the Order 66 scene at the beginning of the show if she wasn't one of those younglings.
Yeah.
But like did people just not think that was gonna happen? Pretty obvious.
And the thing is too, and it was funny because even in the show, he questioned it because Obi-Wan was like, "Why do you know that? He wouldn't have told anyone." So it's like,
Yeah.
it's if the show even usually when a show calls attention to something, it's something that obviously a fan would notice. So it's like, okay, so like, don't worry, guys, we're gonna get. There's a reason for this. It's not just we didn't realize. But then people are so ready to can it and like, oh, this is terrible. They're so bad they can't even do the lore right. It's like, well, maybe if you wait a minute, it's not actually a huge deal.
Like there's no reason why. Like there's no way that Darth Vader and Obi-Wan had met each other between movies, because Vader said he hadn't sensed his presence in a while. For the record, Darth Vader never says how long it had been. It hasn't not a presence since, and then he trailed off.
Yep.
Before, when I last met you, I was but a learner, now I am a master. Like he was still, like I just that their interaction at the end of the fight in episode 6, and then also I kind of feel his conversation with Palpatine at the end, which obviously I love Palpatine so much. Him just being there for no reason, I love it.
He's like, I like how after everything going on, he's like, you seem agitated. It's like, oh, really? You don't say. Oh, what a savage.
But like, I feel all of that contextualizes him as like me focusing on Obi-Wan kind of made me not be able to tap into my full potential. Now that that's chapter's done, I can fully focus on being the bad dude I am. So now that Obi-Wan is back in his life in episode 4, he's like, when you last knew me, I wasn't able to tap into my full potential. Now I'm the master of evil. Let's do this. Like, I feel like if people had waited until the end of the show to start complaining, they wouldn't have anything to complain about. But not anything. There are still some issues here and there, but overall, I think it was a very strong show overall. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely really strong. And the thing too is like, it got better. Like you said, it got better the more you watched it because things that at first maybe didn't make sense start making sense again. You're like, oh, Reva's character arc makes no sense. Oh, now it makes a ton of sense. Oh, and how satisfying was it? Like at the end of episode 5, where she like turns on it, and then, of course Darth Vader's just like, oh, man, I fanboy over some villains before, but man, when I tell you, I just busted out. I was like, you're gonna die! Like, it was just so. I was just like, oh no, you done did it now! Like,
and yeah, that fight between him and Reva was so good. Like for half of it, she was wailing, like trying to wail on him. He's just dodging. This is just no.
No. It's just like, I'm a hitch. No. No. Like, did never even use his own lightsaber. Like, you know how, like, I mean, that's so, it reminds me of that part in Jedi Fallen Order where they're just like, run, and she, like, runs out, and they're just like, no. Like, he's just like, you have no power here. There is nothing you can do about it. It's just so satisfying to just absolutely just get demolished. Like, that was insane how he's just like, yeah, sure. Like, takes her lightsaber, gives her part of it, and is like, no, come on, try. And of course, immediately gets bodied. Like, oh my gosh. Like, that was so, like, that was just great. It's moments like that make the whole show work. Like, that was amazing. Of course, she gets by. I will say, I don't know how she survived at all, but
I mean,
that is like my only little nitpick. Like, I don't really get how she survived, and then like was able to trek across the desert.
Yeah, not that I think her trying to track down Luke was unnecessary for a character arc,
I
but
feel
I
like
feel
it
like it didn't add enough to be worth it. Like I feel like it was kind of implied that she already realized that she like didn't need to be evil when she lost to Darth Vader. I don't know, I just feel like
yeah.
her that could have been a very like she betrayed and tried to kill Darth Vader, not in the name of of revenge, but just or I don't know. I just feel like there could have been a better way for her to end Episode 5 being dead as opposed to kind of keep
Yeah.
going. But
I feel because like my whole thing was like I thought it would have been better if like I do think she should have died, but I feel like maybe if like the other Inquisitors or somebody like I don't think the whole going to Tatooine because obviously they needed a B plot for the last episode because as much as it would have been awesome to just have an hour of Obi-Wan and Vader just going at it, you
mm.
knew they weren't going to do just that for an hour. So it was like,
You could have like a
I
30
mean,
minute
yeah, you
episode.
could. And honestly, yeah, if it was up to me, you should. But like, just knowing how these things go, like, I mean, you could just make the whole show just 6 episodes of them fighting. But I mean, but then it's
And
like, okay, maybe that's asking a little too much.
yeah,
but, but so they need to be plot. And like, yeah, I feel like it was a little unnecessary to keep her around. And also, I feel like the whole Luke thing didn't really make sense. It's like, oh well, I spared his child, just like, I failed revenge. It's like, what? Like, I don't really, because like, A, he doesn't even know about him. B, it's not like he cares about him. C, like, how does murdering a child equal murdering a child? Make that two wrongs don't make it right. And D, like, no, like I don't get the point of that. Like,
I did like seeing Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru like do things.
yeah,
That was cool.
Rue was killing it, bro. I was like,
Is she
she's
like
ready to take the empire
ex-military or
out by
something? Cause
herself, man.
she was packing. Like what is
She
this?
was like, bro, she was gangster, bro. She was just like, she was going for the kill like the whole way, man. I was so impressed by Rue. I was like, yo. I was like, Uncle Owen needs to, like, maybe Owen should go inside. She can handle this. I mean, man, she was just going. Yeah, it was just, I don't know. It was a little, yeah, like that B plot in the last episode was definitely a little lackluster, just because it felt like they just had to put something there. But
Yeah.
yeah, but man, that fight though,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like Obi-Wan got a little too powerful though?
Yes.
Because that was ridiculous. Like that was kind of
Like
crazy.
outside of Mace Windu in the like the 2003 Clone Wars series, I've never seen a Jedi do something like that before.
No, that was insane.
But do I do I care? Also, no, because it was cool.
Yes,
So,
agreed. It was very awesome, but it just kind of felt like kind of out of nowhere. Because especially when a couple episodes ago he could barely lift a rock, and now he's doing stuff we've never seen him do like at all. Like not Clone Wars, not Episode 3. I mean, this was ridiculous. I mean, he's an
yeah,
Earthbender. So
like
I mean, that was kind of crazy.
like it's the classic thing where it's like Jedi are only as powerful as the fight allows them to be, because he should have been able to fold General Grievous in 2 seconds with that power.
Yes.
Yet
There's nowhere you could like. There
he was
was no
struggling.
way. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, if a Jedi could do that, that's the Clone Wars would have ended in like a week, bro.
Yeah.
Like that. Like you can't tell me that like what. You can't tell me that move alone wouldn't have taken out an entire garrison of CIS troops. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way. And then it's just like, oh, and again, that's like rusty first. Like that's like. You know what I mean? It's like someone it's like you've never played basketball in 10 years, and now you can do stuff you could never do before. It's like, come on now. It's a little far-fetched to believe that. Like,
I mean,
I know there's like the theory where it's like, well, there's less Jedi, so maybe the Force is just there's less people using the Force, so there's more out there to use, per se, but like,
I think that's more of a
I
dark
don't
side
know
thing.
about that.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know about that. It's just like, I don't know. I'd still feel like that's kind of like that. Like that was ridiculous. Because even Darth Vader was like, "What the heck?" You gotta see. He was just like, "Bro, what? Like, what? Did we switch universes? Like, what is this?"
Maybe it, because he only really got that powerful and able to get himself out of that, being buried under by rocks by like, remembering what he's fighting for, like actually, like, like grasping onto those earthly attachments that the Jedi Order tried to like shun him away from, and like, I think maybe that is what allowed him to be so powerful, ironically, and like,
Maybe.
I don't know.
I did think it was interesting how like he was down there and then Darth Vader just stands over the high ground. I was just like, oh, he's petty. I really wanted him to say like something about the high ground or something.
I mean, I wanted him to, but I think that would have been a little too much. I think I don't know.
Yeah.
Or even just say something like "It's over, Obi-Wan." Not even say the high ground. Like we get it. You can just say
like we know.
Yeah.
We.
I did love the. I will do what I must. Then you will die. It's like it's not quite the original line, but it's close enough.
Pretty close. I thought he was gonna say the original. I was like, ooh.
It's not. But like it has more punch to it.
It was just. I was half expecting Vader to just do a backflip just because. I was like, if he just like that would be so cool. If they just start going.
Yeah, and I loved how multiple times throughout the series when we're seeing them two fight, we get like parallels to fights from other movies. Like when they're in the flashback scene, they're doing moves very similar to Episode 3. In Episode 6, there's one sequence where like hit twice on top, hit in the bottom, and then Obi-Wan spins around to attack. Very similar to Episode 4, just a lot faster than it was in Episode 4.
Well, it's interesting too because when they're fighting in the last episode, it's also that dark kind of like in Episode 5 with like Luke and Vader, where it's like dark and it's just the blue saber on his face and the red saber on my head. It's like that. Mm-hmm. They always do that because they even did it again in Attack of the Clones, with that like the light just shines and it's like that's all you can see.
Yep.
It's so cool seeing that. It's such a cool effect.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, and going off that, I loved how at the end after Obi-Wan again almost killed him. I love so much how like him like swiping his back and then hitting him in the head. That would kill any normal person, but just it's Vader, it didn't. I loved how during that conversation, like as Anakin is like accepting that he is fully on the dark side now, like Anakin is dead, like the blue switched to red, and like
Mm-hmm. All right, or that just or like when they got like the half voice with like half James Earl Jones, half Hank, like that was so good. Like,
yeah, and I love how it was the opposite side of his face that Ahsoka broke off in Rebels.
Like, I did think that was interesting. That's true.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, "You didn't kill Anakin. I did." It's like, oh, he said it. Okay.
From a certain point of view.
I'm just like, he's probably laughing about it. It's like, from a certain point of view. Like, oh man, but it's so true though. It makes sense. But man, it was something, man. That whole thing was just like. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah.
A lot of the characters introduced, they were interesting characters. I really liked the I forgot her name, was helping the Imperial spy or whatever. It was get out.
Tala,
I think it was. Yeah. I thought she was a really good character. I liked her arc and it makes sense. And I like the whole one for everyone to get through. And I was like, I respect that. That's pretty cool. And like I said, Leia was really good.
All the Inquisitors I loved.
I did like the Inquisitors. I will say, I kind of wish I saw a little more of the other Inquisitors. They kind of were just around.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting. And again, Reva got a lot better once you kind of realize her whole arc.
Mm.
And then, man, it was just.
It was essentially like by the end of it, it was everything I wanted out of an Obi-Wan thing. It was a little bit of a trek to get there. But like overall, I think it was I couldn't really ask for more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, because the only other thing you would maybe want is like, I don't know, just more Darth Vader stuff. But it's just like, yeah, but I mean, you're never gonna be satisfied with enough Darth Vader stuff. So it's like, is that really a reasonable request?
Yeah. And like people that are complaining, it's like, did you want Obi-Wan to just be on Tatooine for 6 episodes? Because that sounds boring. Do you want the
And
show?
you also can't be on Tatooine that long, because then it would be like, okay, why didn't the Empire just come here and fight? You know what I mean? Like it makes sense that he's moving around, because it's like the Empire is ginormous. If they like, you know what I mean? If Obi-Wan was just holding it down in Tatooine for a month, they would just blow the planet up. To be honest.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to at some point get like prepared. But yeah.
Yeah. Overall, it was very good Star Wars.
Yes.
That's all I want out of Star Wars is to be good Star Wars.
Yeah. No, I mean, great. I was greatly pleased.
Yeah. And I know it hasn't been confirmed yet, but there's heavy rumors that a season 2 or part 2 or something more with this is going to happen in the future. I don't know what it would all like entail, but nor would be like
That's kind of the thing.
I wouldn't
It's
say
like,
no, but I would be hesitant to like, because I think
Yes.
it wrapped up as well as any Obi-Wan thing could, because you already had Qui-Gon show up, so like you don't like need to
Right, because it was kind of like, yeah, what else do you really need to do? Because it's like he already has big thing with Obi-Wan or with Darth Vader. He already, it doesn't really make sense for him to do more stuff with Leia, because then it's like, okay, now it's like it would be weird for Leia to be like, oh, where could It's like, no, that's my homie Obi-Wan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we hung out all the time. So I feel like the only thing he could really do is like, yeah, sit on Tatooine and get old. Like it's nothing really he could do.
But I mean, if they have a good enough story and see a good enough reason to make more, I won't say no, but like I'll need a very good pitch for exactly what he'll be doing. But yeah, cool. I think the next Star Wars thing is Andor. Is that next?
When does Andor come out?
Andor, I think
know
is
it's
end of August.
really that's
Yeah.
so. Yeah, they're August 31st. You're right.
Cool. That's 12 episodes
I
of
did
that.
not think-
So
I did not think that was that close, man. This year's flying by.
okay. So sticking with Disney Plus shows, it turns out we were 100% right because because unfortunately Miss Marvel's debut was the lowest ratings yet of any Disney Plus show.
Because it was in the middle of Obi-Wan. Sorry.
Correct. You're right. You're absolutely like right when Obi-Wan started getting really good, this show dropped, and like apparently before this show came out, Hawkeye was the lowest premiere at 1.5 million views opening weekend. This series only got 775K opening weekend, which is there's a couple of like there's no guarantee that wouldn't have been the lowest regardless, but I feel like over 1 million easy if it wasn't for
yes, because and again like I'm in that bunch of people who did not watch it because I was so busy with Obi-Wan that I was not, you know what I mean? Like I did not even like.
Have you seen it at all yet?
No. Like,
wow. Okay.
and that's what I think, because this is this coming week is the first week there's no new Obi-Wan. Right. So now I'll be enticed to watch it, but it's like first of all, Obi-Wan was already happening, so that's already priority one, and then it's Obi-Wan. I'm not gonna sorry, I gotta watch this Marvel. Like if I'm picking one, I'm picking Obi-Wan.
Like
no questions.
If it was Obi-Wan and Loki going side by side, maybe Loki would have stood a much better chance because Loki's already an established character. He's already a fan favorite character. Like,
oh yeah,
he's been around for a while. Like I feel like that's more comparable. But Miss Marvel, So far, from episode 1, 2, and 3 that's been released so far, I've really liked it. I think it's one of the stronger Disney Plus shows so far, like probably top 3 at least. Um, uh, However, it is with a very, very unknown character. Unfortunately, just the representation of the show, unfortunately, again, is not everyone's cup of tea. With her being, a Muslim family in a Muslim community, like that won't, unfortunately, won't draw as many people as just like as other things. It's also about a character who was a big fan of Captain Marvel, who some people don't like for some reason. So that alone was probably going to make it the lowest premiere, which was definitely not helped by Obi-Wan coming out on the same day.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm not saying it's like, bad, but it's like, if anything, like, again, Obi-Wan was huge, so it's like, if we go eventually to like Mando season 3, if something comes out during the same time as that, it's gonna get dusted.
Yeah.
Because Mando is just established as great content. So it's like, they're shooting themselves in the foot for some reason. Like I don't get it.
Like
even the show comes out on Friday, it's fine.
Yeah. Like I didn't watch Miss Marvel episode 1 until 2 days later, just because I need a little bit of break between watching, an hour of show, Obi-Wan, and then I needed to wait.
Right.
Some people can watch 2 things in one day, and that's fine. Some people...
Right, I got things to do. Like,
yeah, some people have things to do, and they only watch one or the other. Some people, if they watch Obi-Wan, they'll forget about Miss Marvel, and then the next week comes around, they'll still forget about it because the next episode of Obi-Wan comes out. So now that episode 4 of Miss Marvel is coming out against nothing, and maybe it'll get more attention, but...
Probably. People still have to catch up, but I think maybe episode 5, because it'll give people a week to catch up. But I think episode 5 will probably be its best episode as far as watching, just because there's nothing else it's competing with now.
If they had stuck with the original schedule, which I, again, thought they were going to and should have went with, the original schedule of having Obi-Wan's be on Friday and Miss Marvel on Wednesday, would have been more likely for you to watch them both?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, it's just the same days, dropping the same day is just the only problem. Because again, I don't get it. Like, why would you do that? Like, you're oversaturating the days, and then like, you just kind of, it makes you choose essentially, and then you're gonna choose the more sure thing, which is Obi-Wan by a mile at this point. So like,
not that Miss Marvel is bad, but like,
it hasn't been anticipated for 10 plus, 15 plus, almost 20 years now.
Almost,
so
and some people will defend it where it's like, well, you can just pace it out on your own time. You don't have to watch them on the same day. But Disney should do that for you. It is in their best interest to do that for you. And I would like to believe after Miss Marvel is over and they see that the ratings aren't nearly as high, I really, really hope they don't see it as, oh, this is a knock against Miss Marvel. I really hope they see it as, we need to restructure how we do things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, and my thing too, I don't get it, is like, why would you not? Like, it just makes sense to like separate big things so that that's like if they made 2 Marvel movies come out like a week apart. Like, why would you do that? There's no reason to do that. Like, you're just shooting your own profits. Like,
they never release Marvel movies in December because that's Star Wars month generally. They never release the one time they did release a Star Wars movie in May, it didn't do that well. So maybe they should have learned from Solo and been like, hey,
it's like, you don't like, and again, especially when it's your own thing. Like, I understand Marvel and Star Wars are like technically different, but you're on the same network.
Yes.
By the same company. So it's like somebody has the authority to be like, hey, let's not do these things against each other because that's pointless.
Yeah.
Like, Because again, it makes it, yeah, it's a bad reflection on Miss Marvel because it makes it look like Miss Marvel's not good, which again, I haven't seen yet, but I assume it's not absolutely terrible because that's what the numbers are saying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Critically, it's been doing very well, but just not as many people have seen it as they should have. And
right, and that's
ironically, if this were on something like an actual cable channel like Disney Plus or like the Disney Channel, I think releasing two things the same day is makes more sense there because you can advertise during the middle. Like let's say Obi-Wan came out for like 7 p.m. Miss Marvel came out 8 p.m. You can advertise during the commercial breaks of Obi-Wan, hey, Miss Marvel is coming up next. So then you can just stick around to watch the next thing. Whereas
right.
here,
Because they used to do that all, like TV shows used to do that all the time. It's
yeah,
like, oh, don't go anywhere. This is coming on right after, and you're like, oh, this show. So you had like you just have be on a roll your TV, and now it's like you have to physically do it. So it's like people probably aren't going to do that. They're not going to
yeah,
want to.
and not to mention, I've made this suggestion before. Disney needs to listen to us because clearly it's not working for them. Because I think the way if you are going to have to do it this way, you need to somehow program it in where like after the first 5 days of these two episodes coming out next to each other, they need to autoplay into each other. Because currently, after Obi-Wan's over, it autoplays into episode 1 of the Phantom Menace. Because it's in the Star Wars section of Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in Miss Marvel, it autoplays into some other Marvel thing. Whereas I feel because, especially since Disney, like I said, just does own, cable networks,
Everything.
they should know better than to, they should know how to cross promote their shows like this. So have it where it just autoplays. If you don't touch your controller, it is autoplay straight into the other thing that released today.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that way you can stay current without really trying.
And it at least reminds you if you don't want to watch it right then you at least see, oh, Miss Marvel came out today, I'll watch that later.
That's a good idea. That's a great idea, actually, because yeah, you could just see what else came out, or like maybe a movie drop that you didn't know about, or like anything that like recent, like it would just be like recently added or something, or like anything, and that like any kind of show, movie, whatever. I think that's a great idea to stay like up to date on shows.
Yeah, I mean
That's a good
they
idea.
should just release them on different days, preferably Star Wars Friday,
Yes.
Marvel Wednesday, but
Either or though, like either way, it doesn't matter. Just
it doesn't.
one or the other. Like they just Wednesday and Friday just seem like the best times to release stuff.
Because currently, yeah, Andor is coming out end of August, but that'll come out the same day as I think She-Hulk episode 3. And I know people aren't like, super anticipating She-Hulk, but that's still going to be another instance of two major shows coming out at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't
And it
know.
would be so and like it's streaming. So it'd be like it's not even like you have to like change anything. Just release it on a different day. Like it's already done. It's already just I hope this changes their minds because I feel like this show is suffering for a reason other than what it's actually doing. It's not the show's fault.
Yes. And I really hope like the people who make Miss Marvel specifically go to Disney and are like, look, our show is good. You know our show is good. The fans who have seen the show know our show is good. Because you put our show next to this other thing that is more anticipated, we didn't get the audience we deserve. I think you should fix this.
Yeah, they owe them that much.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. Last little bit of Disney news. It's been confirmed that Marvel will return for Comic-Con this year. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. No idea when it's happening. I will never know until the weekend after it's done.
Wait, no. We're gonna find out right now.
It's like sometime
Because
like
I will
July.
totally forget too.
Is it like July 24th, maybe?
2022 is July 21st through the 24th.
Okay.
So that is like about a month away.
Cool. So Marvel has, I think they skipped the last 2 years because they had their own like D23 presentation thingies.
Hmm.
But they'll be there this year. So
Good.
yeah, probably get our first look at Ant-Man Quantumanium, first look at Black Panther. Um, you know, probably a
And
few
everything
other
else.
new announcements of
That'll
stuff.
be a couple weeks after Thor, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Probably some like casting news for various new projects. Probably gets to see who's going to play Ironheart. Get more information on Secret Invasion. Yeah, it'll be good.
Hmm.
In other nerd news, it's been confirmed that currently in development there are 3 animated Avatar: The Last Airbender movies.
Yep.
One specifically based on Kyoshi, releasing 2024, one based on Zuko in 2025, and one on Korra in 2026.
Yes.
So
Yep.
it's a little weird that out of these 3, Korra is the one that got her own show. Not that I think she doesn't deserve her own movie, but I feel like is this, Zuko and Kyoshi are side character, not like they're not the main character of.
They're not the main focus of their respective, like,
Well,
especially Kiyoshi.
yeah,
But
like Kyoshi represents like the past, Zuko represents the present, and then I don't know, Tenzin or whoever else is the future. But it's Korra, which is fine. I
yeah,
sure probably gonna be good.
I mean, it's more Avatar stuff. It's the OG creators actually in it, so like, I'm for it.
Yeah, and Kyoshi is very cool. She has a couple of novels out that are neat. So yeah,
Yeah,
um,
I'm in.
and Dante Bosco loves playing Zuko. So just
And we love Dante Bosco.
yeah, seeing how he actually this is. I just now thought of this is probably going to be an animated version of the him searching for his mom arc from the comic.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is what I've been speculating, which is like, which originally when it was this announced, it was 3 movies. I thought it was just going to be the 3 like Star Wars. It was like the Search, the Promise, and
Mm.
I forgot what the Rift. I think I don't remember what the other one was, but it's like 3 different things. I thought that was just going to do those, which I'm like, okay, those pick up after the show, so that kind of makes
Yeah.
sense. But yeah, apparently that's not the case. So it's just gonna be one, but it probably will be based on that or something similar. They might adapt it a little bit,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
it'll have Zuko, so it'll probably have some of the other gang members and Iroh, which is always a win. So
Mm. Yeah, seeing how he's dealing with being the new Fire Lord, seeing how how Aang is dealing with with post-war
Avatar
time
stuff.
being the Avatar is just it's cool. Um, yeah, and hopefully this just makes more people like Avatar, which is always a win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be good stuff. I'm excited. As long more quality Avatar content is always welcome.
Yep. And I think the last bit of news that I have is Joker 2 is happening, and Lady Gaga is going to be Harley Quinn.
Oh.
And it's apparently going to be a musical.
Oh no! That has to be a joke. You're serious?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not joking. It's going to be a musical.
What?
What?
Who signed off on that?
Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga, apparently.
Yeah, I know who actually signed. Never mind. Oh man, I don't understand that at all. But okay.
I mean, I think that sounds like a lot of fun.
It does, but it makes no sense. It will be entertaining, but there will be it will make no sense at all. But oh well.
Yeah. I'd be way more likely to actually go see it in theaters. I still haven't actually seen all of the first one. It's just a little too, I don't know, a little too much for me. I think it's just not. I'm sure it's good.
Just
I just don't. I don't
I
know.
don't know. It's one of those weird I don't know. I feel like first of all, I feel like this movie did not need to be Joker. I feel like this was just a mental thriller
Mm-hmm.
already, and then they were like, "How do we sell more tickets? Ooh, make it the Joker. Boom,
Yes,
$1 billion." And
that's
it's just like this movie did not need to be that at all. They just sprinkled some Gotham City stuff in at the last minute. I'm just
mm-hmm.
like, okay, whatever. But
Yeah.
but hey, who knows? It made money, so like what do I know? But
Made over $1 billion. First radar movie
it
to make a
did.
billion. So
So they made a billion reasons why to make another one.
pretty much.
Because everyone loves musicals after as a sequel to whatever this was. Like, okay. But I do like Lady Gaga's, I guess, singing and stuff. So sure,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean,
I don't think there's a hard release date for this movie, but it's coming out sometime in the future. So
eventually,
yep.
French accent.
Eventually. Um, so yeah, I think that's all the topics I have. Do you have anything else you want to bring up or discuss before we sign off?
I don't think so. No, I can't think of anything.
Okay. So with that, we will see you all next time.
Take care.